Hi everybody, this is a very short video and it's focusing on Henry Cavill and Jimmy Fallon in an interview in English, I think 5 years ago. And there's some basic vocabulary that might be interesting, but in general, Jimmy speaks very quickly and it's difficult to catch every single word probably. And Henry's accent is maybe a mix between American and a little British sense in there as well, but he speaks a little slower and it's easier to understand him. But I will play the video first and you can listen yourself for 2 or 3 minutes, and then after the video I will show you the explanation for the vocabulary and the expressions, and then finally you can play the video again to try to identify the vocabulary and the cosas. Okay, so I will share the screen now and you can see the video here on the left. Okay, so this is the video on the left and you can see my screen here on the right. Okay, so it's just a typical chat show. In English, I'm going to make my notes here as well so you can see a chat show is a very typical program. Also, you have a chat show host, like the presenter, and Jimmy Fallon is the presenter here. So that's a very important word, a chat show host. And on the right, we have the script and the text of the conversation, which I have created. Okay, so hopefully the size of the text is okay with your telephone and you can see everything clearly. If you turn your telephone, it's a bit easier. Yeah, so that's the basic vocabulary to begin. It's a chat show and a chat show host, and also Henry is the guest. So he is the guest on the show. Okay, and I think it's every Friday or Saturday night in New York. Okay, so I will play the video for 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, and you can try to understand everything first. More or less, I think you will understand the conversation because it's quite basic and simple. But then after, I can show you a little detail as well. Okay, so I'll press play.
This guy, look at this guy. He's a beast. I'm like, what are you looking at? Look at it, Chuck. What is this guy craving right here? This guy.
Well, there's many unsavory things I'm sure he's craving, but
yeah, you got six-pack abs.
Yeah, six-pack abs. Unfortunately, Guinness is what I crave, so it's not ideal for the six-pack abs.
Yeah, you would just love a nice beer. Yeah, a nice cold Guinness right there. That's I mean, you have to. You're Superman. You have to be in awesome shape.
Yeah, for the movie, but generally, sort of off movies, I tend to be off season, and
do you gain weight back?
Yeah, I put weight on and then lose it again before we start shooting.
Lose it when you go on the diet of Superman. What does Superman eat?
Eats a lot of things.
Well, name one.
I mean, okay, it depends. If I'm mass building, then I'll eat burgers and stuff.
Mass building.
Yeah.
See, that's
I'm doing my mass
we're different people.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. Mass building, that's what they call it, yeah. So you're just trying to get your arms bigger.
Yeah, exactly.
Chefs, yeah, that's cool.
But then,
You're a really cool dude, yeah. I'm like looking at him, I'm so nervous, yeah.
We're cool too, man.
Well, I mean, but that means I would never ever even come close to having a, the arm the size of your arm. Your arm's the size of my leg. But I mean, but now it's not like you just do Superman and you take time off because you're doing the Justice League movies as well.
Yeah, Justice League. I think we start pre-production on that in January.
So you don't really have that. Well, January, that's a little time.
Yeah, plenty of time.
Oh yeah, try to get fat and then lose it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, really first.
I work really hard to get fat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And can I just ask, for cardio's sake, what do you do for cardio? No cardio.
No, I run. That's a savory answer.
Yeah. But what is the real answer?
I think they do.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's what you do. Well, you burn a lot of calories. Good for you. That's fantastic.
That's right.
Yeah, you go ahead. Go for it.
Okay, so that was the interview. Not too difficult, very simple, very basic really. And I'm sure you understood the majority of the chat. And just for curiosity, and just now, I will show you the script and to identify and highlight the important things. So Jimmy is in green, that's the first part, he's the presenter. He says, look at this guy. So of course the preposition, look at look at the birds, look at the sky. So very typical look at. This guy is like this man, this person. So it's very similar to man, person. Okay, probably masculine, I think. Not really possible for female to call somebody a guy. And again, he repeats. So he repeats himself. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. And also in the video, Jimmy changes his mind a lot. So he begins to one sentence structure and then he changes his mind. And so it's not a perfect example of a complete simple structure. There's lots of little words that are difficult to catch. So in the first part, he's a beast. So in Espanol, bestia. Okay, so he's a bestia, like a big, strong, aggressive person. And I think the translation they said here, that was interesting. Oh no, sorry, that's a different word for the next part. So a beast, I think, he's a big, strong, physical, aggressive person. And then he says, he's like, what you looking at, punk? So this word is very American, and its translation was very curious here in word reference. So I will show you here. They said punk, and it's typical in America. And I think the best translation they said is gambero. Okay, gambero or gambera. So it's a little bit disrespectful. Yes, definitely it's disrespectful in the United States. In Ireland, it's not really common. Very, very seldom. That's a difficult word. I'm going to put it here. Very seldom or very rare. Okay, very rare to use. But in America, it's typical. So that's what he says. And then he says, what is this guy craving? So this verb is very important and very interesting. So to crave is como deseo, to wish or to want. Okay, so what are you craving? And I'll put here, to crave is like to wish, to desire, or to want. Okay, also the substantivo is a craving. For example, chocolate, nicotine, alcohol. It's something that you want. Okay, so nicotine, alcohol, that's a craving. So I would really like is a craving. And here it's a present continuous. So it's the verb to be in the auxiliary plus craving. And the Spanish translation, just to be very clear, is also attention. You can crave attention, and probably they say desire or wish. Comida, ansias, antojo. It's typical in relation to food, yeah, and attention. Okay, so it's possible food, alcohol, and attention. To crave all those things are very, very typical. And the next, so what's this guy craving? What does he really want? He's just, so that's not a complete sentence again, so don't worry about the end. And then he says, well, there is many unsavory, so not nice things, really. The negative savory is como gusto, taste. So there's many cosas unsavory, the negative, I'm sure he is craving, but, so he doesn't finish the sentence. Yeah, you're, so I think this would be like this. So he doesn't complete again. You've got a 6-pack of abs. So abs are like abdominals, and the 6-pack specifically here, it's in relation to abdominals, and probably it's paquete de seis for alcohol. Muscles, yeah, okay. A washboard, that's very interesting translation, because in English we also say a washboard, very similar for abs, but in English specifically we say a 6-pack of abs. And then Henry continues, yeah, unfortunately, Guinness is what I crave. So the alcohol, the beer is what I crave, what I want, what I desire. So it's not ideal, it's not perfect for 6-pack abs, okay? And then Jimmy continues, yeah, you just love a nice beer, a nice cold Guinness right there. Really, that's just for emphasis, like in front of you. Right there is just in front of you. So a real nice cold Guinness in front of you, or a key here. That's, I mean, so again, not very good to understand. He doesn't really complete, changes his mind a lot. And again, another question, and he continues to change his mind. And he says, well, you're Superman. You have to be in awesome shape, okay? So this is the structure. And we normally say to be in good shape, to be in bad shape. Es como en forma en español, muy similar como in forma, okay, to be in good shape. Because shape specifically, so you're clear, is here, and it's forma, okay, physical form. Okay, perfect. So to be in good shape, to be fit. Another way to say it in English is to be fit, and that's what he says in the video. And then Henry continues, yeah, for the movie, but generally it's sort of. So this is a bit interesting. Kind of. So kind of, not exactly. It's sort of. It's kind of. It's like. That's just important to remember in conversation. It's typical. So, for example, the weather today, it's sort of cloudy. It's a little cloudy. It's not exactly cloudy. It's sort of, type of. Okay, kind of, type of. Just important in conversation to catch the little detail and the little words, in my opinion. Off movie. So when you're working on a movie, you're in the process of the movie. And then off movies is when you have free time, or when you're time off or free time. I tend, es como tendencia, el verbo, I tend to be off season. Okay, season is temporano, and again, off season is como to relax, time to relax and free time. And again, he doesn't finish the sentence, so not very good. Do you gain? Okay, this is very interesting in relation to food and shape and form and weight. So the verb in English that is most typical is to gain weight. Also, the verb is to weigh. Okay, so the verb to weigh in infinitivo, I'm going to put this in red so you can see where I am. And the substantivo is with the T. That's the big difference, okay? With the T, it's the substantivo. But the verb typical with peso is ganar, to gain weight. That's the most typical. The other possibility is poner, to put on weight, very common. So the two are extremely common and very typical, to gain weight or to put on weight. Maybe you can añadir, to add weight. Not really, but the first two are very typical. And then the opposite is to lose weight. Okay, very similar as well, the opposite to lose weight. So to put on weight, to gain weight, and to lose weight. They're the most typical. Okay, so that's, then he says, do you gain, ganar, pero, do you gain weight? So the substantivo with the T, back. So it's just reference to you lose the weight and then it return. So lose the weight and then gain back, to return. Yeah, and then he says, I put on weight. So that's the perfect phrase, a verb to put on weight. You can see here, to put on weight, it's the same. So yes, I gain weight or I put on weight. Then lose it, and here it is the weight, again, before we start shooting. This one is very important as well, because the verb to shoot is tirar. Okay, that's the verbo, to shoot. And a shot is substantivo. Okay, so very interesting. And in relation to the movie, basically, that's the context. We say to shoot a movie, to shoot a scene. And in Espanol, it's like recordar. So that's the most important point from that part of the conversation. In English, to shoot a movie, to shoot a scene, to shoot is record. Similar to record a movie, to record a scene. And it's possible in English as well to record a movie, to record the scene. Okay, so before we start shooting, so it's in relation to the movie, in the context of the television or the movie. Because when you're on a diet, so that's the expression, the preposition always in English, on a diet. Or you can say the verb, I am dieting. I am on a diet. So very good. And there is one joke that's very typical, might be difficult to understand. So seafood is marisco, but it's like seafood, that's the joke. It's como ver comida, and the joke is I am on a seafood diet, because cuando veo comida, como. So when I see food, I eat it. It's that's the joke, and I hope you can understand the significance, really. What does Superman eat? So in relation to a question, we have the verb to do, and here's the question: what do or does in the third person Superman eat? The verb to eat. He eats a lot of things. Come mucho. Name one. Llama uno. Okay, it depends. Depende. If I am mass building, so that's the expression. He says build is como construir, and mass is como mucho. So mass building. Then I will future simple. This word was the most difficult in relation to the conversation. So the pronunciation of burgers in Henry's accent was a little unusual and a little different from other people. And like in Ireland with the U, we have a very strong pronunciation with the U. So sometimes the strong Irish accent might be burgers, but maybe in different parts of England, for example, they'd say burger. So there's a difference with the U, and Henry was a good example with a little different pronunciation with the burgers. Okay, and maybe after the explanation you can listen in the video and try to identify his pronunciation of burgers. Then he says and stuff. So stuff is very interesting in English. It's like cosas. Okay, so I have a lot of stuff. In English it's like things, cosas in Espanol. I have a lot of stuff, and the rule here is plural also is stuff. It's irregular plural, and normally we say I have a lot of stuff. Because it's plural, it's irregular, and the S is not necessary at the end. Okay, and here it's the same. It's plural, but there's no extra S. So very important, because many people make the confusion with this all the time. Also completely different and completely separate is staff. So staff are like workers, which is completely different. Okay, so just it looks similar, but it's completely different. Also in relation stuff, there is a verb. To stuff your face is to eat a lot of food, and to poner demasiado into cara. Okay, or your bag, to stuff your bag is como poner demasiado cosas into bolsa. So it's an important verb to stuff your bag. Then there's an adjective, stuffy room. It's like the atmosphere, very hot, very uncomfortable, stuffy room. So interesting, one word, and there's many different contexts. Okay, and then Jimmy says mass building. You see, that's where, so he repetition repeats his expression. That's where we're different people. So he's joking. This is fantastic. Okay, and then he says mass building. That's what they call it, in the people in general. Esticho is como the people in general, what people in general call it, the activity. Yeah, so it's just you're trying to get your arms, and this is the verb to get. So it's like achieve in Espanol, como lograr. Aquí is como like achieve, and to get has 4 significances. So the verb to get is to obtain, to reach, to achieve, I think are the main 3 that we need to, and to become. Okay, so they're the most important translations. So for example, obtain, I obtain 10 euro, I got 10 euro in the past, irregular. So just in the past, got. So I obtained, I got 10 euro. To reach is in travel. For example, I will get to Italy, I will arrive to Italy, I will reach Italy. And to achieve is to get your arm, and that's exactly the context here. You're trying to get your arm bigger, to achieve your arms más grande. Okay, to become is like llevar a ser. For example, to get tired. After 6 o'clock, I will get tired. So get is very, very, very important in English for sure. And that is key, that you remember the 4 different significances for get. And in Henry's example, Jimmy says you're trying to achieve your arms bigger, or maybe become. You're trying for your arms to become bigger than they are at the moment. All right, so the next one, we will continue, and Henry says, exactly, yeah, that's cool, but then, yeah, and then people are laughing in the crowd because he says, you're a cool dude. Yeah, look, you got me a little nervous. Okay, so this expression in Espanol is como me pongo un poco nervioso. Okay, in Espanol you say poner nervioso, and in English it's different. Very important. In Espanol, poner nervioso, but in English, it's to get or become a little nervous. Okay, so I got nervous, or you get nervous. And here's the past simple. So definitely that's very, very important in English. And then he replies, he also says, yeah, you're a cool dude too. I'm just you're a cool dude too. That was the reply of Henry that I forgot to enter into the document, okay? And then he says, look at you, man. And then, well, I mean, I would never, ever, ever, even, incluso, so nunca, 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 incluso, venir cerca a, come close to, having, you know, and then it's like repetition, changing his mind, difficult to understand, that an arm the size of your arm. Your arm is the size of my leg, so that's the joke, very funny. But I mean, o sea, now it's not like you just do Superman and you take time off. So to take time off is like holiday. That's important to take time off. That's the holiday. After the summer, you will take time off for your holiday. So it's important to take time off. Cause is because. It's exactly the same, just informal for conversation. So not necessary for the capitals, but you understand, because we're doing Justice League movies as well. Tambien. Okay. And he said, yeah, Justice League, I think we start pre-production on. So you start on is relation to the movie. So that is the movie. And then the preposition for the month, we say in January. Okay, so in January, and on in relation to the project. I think, so you don't really have that. Again, a lot of changing his structure. So very, very difficult to understand for a student. Tienes tiempo todavía, ¿vale? Tienes tiempo todavía. So still is todavía, time. Yeah, plenty of time. Mucho tiempo. Plenty is very important. Plenty of time, plenty of food, plenty of energy, plenty of books. Plenty is like a lot. Okay, so very, very good word, very important. Time to get, again, become, or, yeah, again, to become fat, and lose, again, perder, the fat, el gordo, it. Okay? Yeah, exactly. I work really hard to get into fat man. So to get into is a structure for a role. For example, we say to get into character in the movies. And that's the joke, because he's an actor. So it's very typical. To get into the character is to become the character, to change your personality. Okay, so to get into character. And he says to get into fat man, which is the joke, the gordo. Okay, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and can I ask? So this is the question. So can is the modal with the verb ask. And for example, ability, I is the affirmative. I can ask. To make the question, you change the position of the auxiliary and the verb. Can I ask? Okay, so that's the question. Can, subject. Can I ask? Can you ask? And the affirmative is I can ask, or you can ask. Okay, just for cardio's sake, this word is very important, maybe the most important in the text, because we have the structure. We say for God's sake, for the sake of the children is another one. And it's like purpose in English, a synonym of purpose, for the sake of the children. And here he says for cardio's sake. Okay, so I'm going to identify that and change this to red so you can see my comment. And exactly, sake, as I said, is like purpose, for the purpose of cardio. And I'll just get the translation here because it is so important in English, this structure, for the sake. And here you can see en nombre de, bien, beneficio, purpose. For me, that's exactly the translation, the sake of, the purpose. And what do you do for cardio? No cardio, I run. That's the savory answer. Again, similar vocabulary as before. The negative, unsavory. Here is the affirmative, savory. So what is the real answer, the authentic answer? I think they get it. So here, get is understand. So the significance here of get is to understand. Okay, so very important here, understand. And probably that's the fifth translation of get. In that context, I think they is the audience or the people in the crowd. They get it, and that's the joke. Okay, yeah. Okay, that's what you do. Well, you burn, quemar, calories. So you burn a lot of calories. That's the connection. So you put on weight, you lose weight, and then you burn a lot of calories. And the next expression is very interesting as well. Good for you is like bien hecho. Good for you. Well done. Like well done. Very important and common in English. You say well done. Bien hecho. Well done. Good for you. That's nice, for example. Okay. And that's it. He says, I try and will go for it. So go for it is another encouragement, like animar in Espanol. I think it's similar to animar in Espanol. Go for it. Do it. Hacerlo. Okay. And then buddy is like amigo or friend. So only 2 minutes of conversation, but at the same time, a lot of interesting vocabulary. And I'll show you here with the text. So at the same time, mientras, while they have the conversation, I will move the screen down so you can see it, okay? So we start at the top. Jimmy Fallon starts. Look at this guy, okay? So I'll press play again to the start, and you can see. And here we go. Okay, vamos a ver.
This guy is a beast. I like, look at that punk. Look at it, tough. What is this guy craving right here? This guy.
Well, there's many unsavory things I'm sure he's craving, but
yeah, you got six-pack abs.
Yeah, six-pack abs. Unfortunately, Guinness is what I crave, so it's not ideal for six-pack abs.
Yeah, you just love a nice beer, a nice cold Guinness right there. That's I mean, you have to for your Superman. You have to be in awesome shape.
Yeah, for the movie, but generally, sort of off movies, I tend to be off season, and
do you gain weight back?
Yeah, I put weight on and then lose it again when we start shooting.
When you go on a diet of Superman, what does Superman eat?
Eats a lot of things.
You want to name one?
I mean, okay, it depends. If I'm mass building, then I'll eat burgers and stuff.
Mass building?
Yeah.
See, that's
Not
where
doing my mass
different.
we're different.
Yeah, mass building, that's what they call it, yeah. So you're just trying to get your arms bigger.
Yeah, exactly.
Your chest, yeah.
That's cool. But then when
you're a really cool dude, yeah. I'm like looking at him, I'm so nervous, yeah. Well, I mean, but that means I would never ever even come close to having an arm the size of your arm. Your arm's the size of my leg. But I mean, but now it's not like you just do Superman and you take time off because you're doing the Justice League movies as well.
Yeah, Justice League, I think we start pre-production on that in January.
So you don't really have that. Well, January, that's still time.
Yeah, plenty of time.
Oh, yeah, trying to get fat and then lose it.
Yeah, exactly. We work really hard to get him fat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And can I just ask, for cardio's sake, what do you do for cardio? No cardio.
No, I run. That's a savory answer.
Yeah. So what is the real answer?
I think they do.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's what you do. Well, you burn a lot of calories. Good for you. That's fantastic.
We're gonna try.
Yeah, you want to go for it.
Okay, interesting. So I hope that you can understand the text and the video. Some errors in my text. I missed a few expressions, not too important, but there's one or two words that I missed in the text that you probably picked from the audio. But yeah, that's the general exercise. I think that's very good for practicing and learning English. If you have any questions, let me know. You can put them in the comments. And I hope you enjoyed the video. And I think that activity is different, but very important to try and catch the vocabulary. So thank you very much, and talk to you soon. And again, if you have any comments or feedback, you can put them in the social media. That would be great. Thank you so much, and have a nice day. Bye.